The European Union peace facility has become increasingly being involved or focusing on capacity building of the African army instead of when I say the African army, the African countries army, instead of being engaged in prevention of conflict and peace building missions. Today, the Somali National Army have received more than $1 million ammunition. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. So as we always do, we bring you the latest from the continent, from the Sahel region, from the Horn of Africa, whatever is going on. So yeah, tune in and let's get into it. So today this news came out that the European Peace Facility, known as EPF, it's an organ of the European Union, has donated more than $1 million ammunition to the Somali National Army, or known as SNA. Now, the timing is what really caught us off guard here at Connect Africa, because the timing is really interesting, and because this is not the first time that the European Union doing such a thing, in like a perfect time, just a perfect time, donating ammunitions to countries. So now the Somali, why I say that this caught us off guard, I have a reason. Because now, as you all know, was it the day before yesterday, we came here and we broke the news to you that the Ethiopian government and the Somaliland have signed this memorandum of understanding between them, which gives Ethiopia the access to the Red Sea, to have a port, and the port, which is a commercial port that Ethiopia can use for import and export, and also which allows Ethiopia, or which enables Ethiopia to have a naval base. Now, this has received a lot of opposition. First of all, look, this is ammunition that have been provided or supplied by the European Peace Facility to the Somali National Army. Okay, just today, it's more than $1 million worth. Now, as I said, the timing is what is really interesting. Okay, let's put it in a frame. Let's bring the context around it. Now, just in the beginning of this week, Ethiopian government and the Somaliland have signed this. Now, this have, some have supported it, some have opposed it. Now, the historical enemies of Ethiopia have opposed it. Okay, and I have gave an analysis here at Connect Africa. Now, the Somali government, look, this is Somaliland. Somaliland is, by the way, it's a self-declared state separated from Somalia, but this has been like this for more than 20 years, okay? Now, the Somaliland, some countries, like more than 35 countries, what you have to know, more than 35 countries, including in Europe and the United States itself, have a diplomatic relationship with Somaliland. Okay, although they did not give a recognition to as a state to Somalia, but they have a diplomatic relationship, including Ethiopia. Okay, so this is not something that was just appeared out of the blue. Now, why Ethiopia really needs, again, just a quick reminder for you, because Ethiopia right now, it's a landlocked country. It is the most populous landlocked country, not only in Africa, but in the world. It's paying $2 billion rent, a port rent for Djibouti. And, given the country's economy, this has been really impossible for the country to continue like this. Now, Ethiopia's another reason is Ethiopia's population right now is more than 120 million, and it's projected to be in 2050 more than 200 million. Okay, and it's, as I said, one of the most landlocked populous country in the world. Now, to rely renting a port has become challenging for the country. It also, there are different loans that the country is owing, for example, to the US, to World Bank, IMF, to the European Union, to China, and everything. And it's not just and also it has been denied debt restructuring. Now the country has tried other. If somebody asks why Somaliland, why signing with a self-declared state who is not recognized, the country has tried it with Eritrea, tried it with Somalia itself, tried it with Kenya. Now with Djibouti, as we said, it's getting expensive. So there is also a security issue. Now, for some reason, these things did not work out. And I leave that for the Ethiopian government. Some of them we know, some of them we don't know why it did not work out. But finally, it finds itself, this is the most preferable situation for it to sign this memorandum of understanding. Just to give you a background why Ethiopia landed signing an MOU with Somaliland, a self-declared state. Now let's go. Okay, when this was signed, just on the eve or like on the new year, by Ethiopia and the Somaliland, the first country, I said, the historical enemies of Ethiopia have opposed it. Okay, now, Somalia, well, obviously Somalia, because it does not recognize Somaliland, but don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that Somalia itself, the government of Somalia, is not in talk with Somaliland. In fact, on 29th of December, they have signed an MOU with Somalian government and the Somaliland government, that will allow them not to provoke each other, meaning it's indirectly, it's giving a recognition to Somaliland. Okay, you're signing with the president of Somaliland, so it's not just Ethiopia. Okay, and they signed this deal in Djibouti, so Somalia did not welcome this signing, and they said they will do everything to defend their sovereignty. I mean, as if Ethiopia really broke their sovereignty. And there has been opposition. People have rallied, demonstrated against it. Okay, I mean, that could be explainable. We also at Connect Africa plan to have a forum that will involve, analysts from the Horn of Africa. Well, now let's continue. This is what, look, one of the Somalis, he's the Minister of Tourism and something. Look what he wrote. Somalia reached out to Egypt, Qatar to galvanize Arab League support following Ethiopia's decision to illegally annex Somali territory on the Red Sea coast. Now, he continues, Somalia calls on the global community to exert pressure on Ethiopia to return to the confines of international law. Now, where are they turning? Both Somalia, Ethiopia, Somaliland, everyone belongs in Horn of Africa, which is part of Africa. So, and they all are, except Somaliland, members of the African Union. Is it easier really to turn to the African Union, or is it easier to go to the Arab League? I mean, who is Arab League? These countries belong to the African Union. They are members, both. It doesn't mean that even it will work in the favor of Ethiopia, but I am dead sure that Ethiopia will prefer if this thing is complained to the African Union, because the Arab League is historically, it always has been against Ethiopia. We have seen it in the negotiation of Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It's always against Ethiopia. They favor Egypt. And in this case, we know the outcome already. They're going to favor Somalia, okay? Now, it continues. Now, this is just what I said to you. Somali and Somaliland agreed to resume talk under Djibouti's mediation, which they signed on 29th of December, as you see here, okay? So, although it's not recognized, don't think that there is a talk behind the door. Everybody recognize everybody. Now, another historical enemy of Ethiopia is Egypt, okay? So Egypt, although these countries share a lot culturally in their ancient, being a kingdom and a civilized states in Africa, but they are also historical. They are, connected by Nile, or what we call in Ethiopia the Abai River, the longest river in Africa, and they are also separated. Their conflict arise also by the river Nile. So following Ethiopia's building, which is a self-financed, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, to bring out of dark more than 65% of Ethiopians, it opposes this mission as if the whole Nile belongs to Egypt. Actually, 86% of Nile it origins from the highland of Ethiopia in the northern part of the country. Now, So why I brought all this is just to give you a background. So it's in the all this happened this week. Okay, Ethiopia signing with Somaliland that MOU for Ethiopia to get an access for its sea, for to get also a port, a commercial port for import and export, which is much cheaper, much quicker for the country. And that's why I think this agreement landed after trying so many other countries in the neighboring, that it landed on this one. So when they signed this, Somalia came out and opposed it, and they said a lot of things that they will defend this and that. I mean, there is Ethiopian military who is doing a peacekeeping mission in Somalia. We do a lot of things together, but also historically, you know, in 1964 and 1970 something, there is a war that was between Ethiopia and Somalia, and there is, you know, this rivalry going on between the two countries. That's undeniable. Now, Egypt came out and said this, that it will stand with Somalia. Of course, Egypt just need one reason to be against Ethiopia. Now, in the midst of all this, now the European Union comes and, you know, donates this more than 1 million worth of ammunition to Somalia. Tell me this is a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. You know why? You know why? Because it did exactly the same thing, you know, in October, at the end of October. Now I bring you another example, okay? In end of October, or the very beginning of November of 2023, when, you know, this the Sahel region was heightened, when the ECOWAS members were threatening to militarily intervene in Niger, because Niger had a government change, or as the Western media calls it, a coup. Now, it was led by France and the United States to military intervene. So they were using ECOWAS. ECOWAS, led by Bola Tinubu, was serving as an errand boy to the West. So they were threatening Niger. Now, in the midst of all that hate, what they did is the same European Peace Facility came and donated 100 armored vehicles to Ghana. Because, as you remember, the ECOWAS was divided by two. There were those who supported the revolution in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. There were the others who were against this, and who were ready to militarily intervene. Right now, the whole history is changed. Ghana is even, you know, unilaterally went and allowed to use for these Sahel countries, meaning Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, to use its ports, you know, because they are landlocked countries. Things have changed, but at that time, Ghana was part of the ECOWAS members to the other category that was, you know, ready to militarily intervene and to contribute military. Meaning, I'm gonna name the countries, which is Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Senegal, and together with Ghana, right? So it came and donates that just at that time. I mean, is this a coincidence? Not really. We are awakened enough not to be deceived by such a thing as an African. Because this, I mean, one thing about one thing about the West is that they never change their system. It's always the same. The whole, you know, security, their media, their research institutes, their universities, the government, their Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's all synchronized. They are working together. Okay, it's always, the step is the same. How they demonize the African governments whenever they refuse to bow to the West, and how their media propagandas demonize our leaders who happen to be Pan-African leaders, and then accuse you with this and that, and then making a friend of your neighboring country to be against you. It's all the same. It's the same old story. That's what. So if we are letting this to deceive us, just to say, oh, just a coincidence, no, then it's us. The problem is with us. Okay, look, that came just like, as I said, at the end of October. EU donates seized military vehicles to Ghana to boost what security in the midst of that you do. Okay, now look, this is what it said, the European Union self, and I'm taking an extract from that news. The donation ceremony took place during a visit to Ghana by Joseph Borrell, who is the head of their kind of a foreign minister to the European Union. It says the EU's chief diplomat. The military equipment includes various armored vehicles, and it comes at a time when the European Union is increasing support for friendly states in West Africa. The European Union's concern stems from the fear that the prolonged insurgency crisis in the Sahel, a semi-arid region south of the Sahara, could potentially spill over into the relatively peaceful coastal countries in the area. Really? I mean, they're not even shy. They are not even ashamed. They are telling you exactly for what they are donating. Tomorrow morning, if the EU press statement comes out and tell us, oh, because of the concerns that Ethiopia and Somalia have, so we happen to, capacity building of the Somali national, do not be surprised. They're not even shy because they know that how ignorant we are. How that we do not read, we're just consumed into the social media and we are not really analyzing. We are, it's a short memory for us. We don't really look at and what happened. It's everything is repeating itself. They are using, as I said, the same story. Now, look, Somalia, what happened is, Ethiopia and Somalia. This is now, look, this is a statement by the European Union, okay? It says that the European Union is concerned about, this tension between Ethiopia and Somalia. Let me just read. I thought this has everything, but yeah, it kind of cut it. Let me see if I can read it from a different source. Okay. Yeah, but in any case, what it does is it's telling us, this is just an excerpt. I did a screenshot just to show you, where the European Union is standing now on this kind of tension between Ethiopia and Somalia with regards to Ethiopia signing that MOU with Somaliland. So their press statement actually said they are concerned and they are against it. That is the whole tone of their statement. Okay, what did this is it. Okay, I can read it. Sorry, I can read it. I have it in full here. It says the European Union would like to remind the importance of respecting the unity, the sovereignty, and territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Somalia, pursuant of its constitution, the charters of the African Union, and the United Nations. Okay, this is their press statement. So that means it's against Ethiopia for signing that MOU with Somaliland, which is a self-declared state. Okay, as if they don't have a diplomatic relationship with Somalia. They have. Even the United States have. Look, this is another statement by the US. The US State Department has called for diplomatic dialogue to de-escalate tensions in the Horn of Africa following a historic memorandum of understanding between Ethiopia and Somaliland, granting Ethiopia a sea access in return of international recognition for Somaliland. Yes, Ethiopia has to now officially recognize Somaliland as a state, okay? So this is, you can see now the whole West, they also, the United States and the European Union works synchronized. So their tone in their statement is also the same. It means they are against it. Okay. Now, my thing is that, let me just share this with you. Why am I talking about this? Why did I say, why did I start my statement by saying that increasingly the European Peace Facility, which is an organ of the European Union, who is supplying now or donating this more than 1 million worth of ammunition to Somali army and to other African countries. So it has become increasingly this organ, European Peace Facility, focusing on capacitating and supplying army African armies, African country armies, in millions of dollars instead of focusing on prevention of conflict and peace building. Now, by their own research institutes, there's a German institute of research institute that really published an article against this because it has become very concerning for Europe, how they are, increasingly involved in in ways of capacity building of African country armies instead of peace building mission and conflict prevention. So this was by this was written, for example, this article was written by let me just see, by Steve Chang, Wessenhaft, and Politik. This is the institute that published it. Look, I'm going to share it with you later, but for now, I have something to share with you. Now, Ethiopia, when it wanted to be, this is another fact I'm telling you, it wanted to be, when it applied to be part of the the Red Sea Forum, one of which consists 8 countries. One of the countries that opposed from it becoming that member was Somalia. Now, this has been really, the spokesperson of the foreign ministry have come out and, said it has expressed its concern, and this is what it says. Let me just share with you. Okay, the spokesperson said, while it's briefing the media, this was, when was this published? Let's see if it has a date, but okay, let's continue. Okay, we can see here on 2022 in February. Okay, now exclusion of Ethiopia from the Red Sea Forum, which is a new geopolitical architecture formed by the Gulf states and the Horn of Africa countries in 2019, is wrong, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, briefing the media, the spokesperson stated that the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, American McConnell, has pointed out during his trip to Germany to attend 58th Munich Security Conference early this week, the exclusion of Ethiopia from the Red Sea Forum is wrong. Now, the Deputy Prime Minister mentioned that exclusion of Ethiopia from the Red Sea is wrong because Ethiopia has a lot to contribute for strengthening peace and security of the region, okay? Now, the Ethiopian, also he continues, the spokesperson, the Ethiopian role in linking the region through transportation is critical. As you know, Ethiopia is a champion in the area of building infrastructure to accelerate regional integration. So, to exclude Ethiopia, which is the most populous, Ethiopia has more than 120 million population. Its geopolitical proximity to the Red Sea is excluded from the forum, and that was, found to be really wrong. Now, finally, I just have, one word to say with this, because that's how I started the European Peace Facility. It's really alarming. Increasingly, it's being involved in capacitating the African countries' armies. And, where the time is very interesting, whenever there is a kind of a tension building around some region, then it comes and, it will capacitate the countries that is kind of in line with the European Union in that specific agenda or in that specific subject, okay? That's what it just did now with Somalia. That's what it has done with Ghana at that time. So my word to EPF, this European Peace Facility, is that, the European Union should rethink its approach to Africa's peace and security. It should more engage with building peace mission, the peace building mission, and also prevention of conflicts. With that, I end my analysis for today. I really hope that you have, I have shed some light for any confusion or for, any kind of gray areas that you have regarding this subject. Thank you again for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for all the subscription, for all the encouragement in the comment section. I appreciate it. So please let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this timing by the European Peace Facility, which is an organ of the European Union, donating more than 1 million ammunition to Somalia when there is this tension. Engage in dialogue. To say that engage in dialogue for these countries is one thing, but capacitating with army, the army is something. It just sends a wrong signal. Okay, a different signal. So let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? Please subscribe to the channel, and also if you like what we bring you here, please give it a like, give it thumbs up, and please let's empower each other with information and knowledge. So go ahead and share this with your people, with your network. And please, if you want to help us further, you can go to the description section or in the pinned comment, and you can donate whatever amount to our PayPal account. Thank you very much again. Have a good evening, have a good day, depending on the time wherever you are. And for me, it's a bye-bye. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.